Tyler Reddick will win the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series championship after becoming the first driver in NASCAR history to win the opening 3 races of the season.
I think he's off to a good start, don't you?
I would say he's spot on, but the
how
question
many,
is, will he win
points?
a championship or not?
70.
70 from second.
Yeah.
From second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got a pretty good shot.
The biggest thing for me, and, Brent, I know you've seen this a lot in other, with other teams, but, we end last year, and the big question was, what's wrong with the 45 team? What do they got to make a change of crew chief? Do they got to what that team's broken? They didn't win a race this year. They don't really make any changes, and that minimal stuff in the shop, I think. Like maybe one of the guys moved on. But you come out and you just win 3 races. And the biggest thing for me is it's not so much they did it on raw speed. It's the execution. All-around team, you look at the damage repair at Atlanta, don't lose a lap, keep themselves in the race. They go out and win. Daytona is all execution now. It's about, feeding information about strategy and how you're going to, put less fuel in at the end. And then this week, pit strategy. They cover the 12 when the 12 pits. Don't let him get a tire advantage on them and jump them. But so I promise you there's nothing wrong. But these 3 races, it's got to feel good when you're all those questions, you come out and execute perfectly and win the first 3 races.
Yeah, and no, I agree with that too. And Nick, his spotter was my spotter for my 9 truck
Well, he
starts
sucks, but I mean, other than that, he's been holding it back.
Yeah, but no, I talked to him about it too last year because, I mean, Tyler's obviously an incredible talent, and I think we all expected him to win a couple last year too. And I had the talk with him at the end of last year, and I was like, what's the deal? And he was like, look, we have speed and our team's great, but we're just not executing. And I think you said it perfectly. And I think the offseason honestly just gave them the time they needed and the reset they needed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think some teams need it and some teams don't. When you're rolling hot, you never want there to be an off season. But when you're struggling, it's nice to have a couple weeks off and reset. And I think that's just what they did. Like you said at Atlanta, I don't think anyone expected them to lead like that with no right front. Like even Nick said it on the radio when I was listening, just so you know, we can't lead. And he went out there and led with 4 tires and was trying to drive away.
Yeah. To the point, though, about the points, listen, 70 is a big gap, right? Things are different this year. You look at, with all those extra points for winning a race, I went back and looked at these 3 races. I think Tyler obviously won all of them. He had a 17-point gap on the second highest point scorer at Daytona, like a 16 or 17-point gap on the second highest scorer at Atlanta, 13 points yesterday because Ty got all those extra stage points. You go back and look at those last year's races, the guys that won the race weren't even the highest scoring guys in those races. So this win total, when you're gaining 20 points or 15 points on the guys that's the second highest, you're going to see a lot more flipping, and you're going to see bigger gaps get erased because of that. And I think that just shows you how much more important winning is this year.
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're going to get into the year, and there's going to be different teams now have to do different things, right? There's going to be the back half of the guys that are trying to make the playoffs going to need to do that, going to need to go get stage points, right, and do all that stuff. And then you got the guys that are like 45 right now, they can just go and try to win every week now, right? In their mind, it's just like, all right, man, we can go play around and outsmart these people without outsmarting them because we're in this position to, right? I mean, it's just like, all right, we're 75 points ahead. We can do this. We can do this now. We can do this now. Where these other guys are like, well, wow, now to catch him, we're going to have to do this. So now the 45 is on offense, right? Yeah. And now a lot of guys are on defense now. So it's a whole new game.
The difference in years past, if you could go out and win both stages, you'd get 20 points, and then you would win the race, and I think you got a 3-point gap on second place in the race. Yeah. Now that it's a 15-point gap, it makes it more attractive to go for the win. You're not giving up 17 points by giving up stage points. You're giving up 5. If to the guys, it's somebody that wins both stages and you can win the race. You've only gave up 5 points to that guy.
But what I'm saying is, there's going to be a lot of teams that aren't going to be able to win that race, right? And realize that. So it is going to be. We're going to be getting into the year, and there's going to be way different strategies going on.
Yeah.
And so it's, we were talking about it yesterday, man. Who's going for points? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? And you've seen it, just a group of cars in the first stage come in and pit early, right? Then the second stage, mostly everybody, but like 7, 8 cars did, right? So it's I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a pretty fun year with these points.
And my question for you, Tommy, just because I'm curious as a young driver too, obviously you've been points racing your whole life, as long as I've been watching.
100 years.
I
My
wasn't
whole
gonna
life
say
too,
it.
actually.
Yeah.
But like my question to you with your job role now, like if you are in the position where the 45 is, like how much relief do you have with that big of a points lead? I know you talked about how it would change your strategy up a little bit and all that stuff, and you just get to go race for the win. But like, does that give you a lot of relief?
Absolutely. Just gives you so